So as you guys know, John Fetterman had a stroke while he was campaigning for the U.S. Senate in Pennsylvania, and he ended up still winning. I mean, he didn't have a good debate performance, but Dr. Oz just came across as smug and patronizing and condescending and elitist and annoying. And voters were like, yeah, I don't like that guy, and I like that guy. That guy has struggles, but we all have struggles, and I think his heart's in the right place. I think he's a good person. We're going to vote for him. I mean, how pathetic is it? Dr. Oz couldn't beat John Fetterman. What does that say about Dr. Oz? Right? I mean, Republicans like to say, oh, look at why would the electorate pick this guy, this Fetterman guy? I mean, that's crazy. You should look in the mirror and say, if we can't beat this guy, what does that say about us? What does that say about Dr. Oz, etc.? Well, after the stroke, he's been struggling with a number of health issues, including severe depression. And, you know, this was a big deal. He institutionalized himself. He wanted to get checked out and get some help. And by the way, it was the right thing to do because he's feeling a lot better now. You know, he went to the best doctors, and they have a course of treatment that he's engaged in. And I'm really happy for him that he's like on the path to recovery, because it's not easy to be open about something like that. And it's not easy to do it in a high-profile way, right? Like, you're famous now. You're a U.S. senator, and there's all these things that are sort of, all these pressures that are pushing you away from getting treatment. But he was like, look, man, I couldn't take it anymore, and I had to go. Well, now he's doing a lot better. By the way, he's also a lot skinnier now, too. And while he was getting help, and actually, I think just after, like when he was released, there was this new conspiracy that popped up on the right that there are actually two John Fettermans. He has a body double. And the body double is covering for the fact that, I don't know, he fled the country, or he's dead, or he's in a coma, or what. I don't even know the details of it, right? But they took two pictures where, look, admittedly, the pictures looked very different, right? It looked like the same guy, but just very different. The shape of the face was different. All these issues with it, right? But the right's conclusion was like, pound the gavel, that's it. There's two John Fettermans. Like, this is not the same guy. Well, no, anybody who understands the different kinds of cameras and lenses and lighting and how that impacts the way you look, and even just positioning of the camera, all these things can make you look colossally different, man. Like super duper different. And one of the responses to somebody who was promoting that conspiracy theory was a good example of like, here's a bunch of pictures, and there were like 4 different people or so, and you could see they just looked totally different picture to picture. But it was the same people, respectively. And it was like, how? It's just the cameras. It's just the lenses. It's just the cameras. It's just the positioning. It's just the lighting. It's just how it is, right? And by the way, if you do like what I do with this, you know that, right? Like, for example, one of the things we always make sure to do, you always want to have the camera angle either at your eye line or a little above it. Why? If you go below it, all of a sudden this area here, this like under chin area, looks way bigger. So if this camera was like down here, let's say, on me and like pointing up at me, I would look like Jabba the Hutt, because that under chin area becomes really prominent. You could see it really clearly. That's just one example, right? You can make me look like I have a fat face. You can make me look like I have a skinny face. You could change things. Well, John Fetterman decided, let's have some fun. He saw the conspiracy. He knows what people were saying. So this is his direct response to it.
Hey everybody, it's me, Senator John Fetterman, and I just want you to know that I'm back and I'm feeling great, 100%. And during my time during the hospital, the Fringies really came up with a conspiracy that I have a body double. And I just want you to know that is just crazy. That's not true. And dude, John, what event am I supposed to be doing this afternoon? Dude, really?
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
One of John Fetterman's things, I think, that made him win, he was a great shit poster. Like, he look, I'm sure he didn't come up with the idea. I'm sure he had staffers around him who were helping him with this. But he has some very online staffers who also have a normie touch. And that's why anytime Dr. Oz tried to go after John Fetterman, he just bodied him on the timeline. And he was always getting, positive reactions online as a result of it. And by the way, mainstream media didn't like it. They didn't like him shitposting, and I'm sure there were comparisons like, this is the Democrats' version of Trump or whatever. But it worked. It was edgy, it was interesting, it was entertaining, it was also still sort of normie, relatable. That's what this is, man. He's mocking you. He's making fun of you if you fell for that goofy conspiracy. And by the way, we want to say, like he said, oh, it was the fringies or whatever. it was kind of the mainstream pundits on the right. I mean, of course, the most mainstream, Ben Shapiro's, I don't think he fell for it, right? There's probably Steven Crowder didn't fall for it. He seems to do one video a month or whatever, so I don't know if he was even commenting at the time. But a lot of, like, that Cat Turd 2 account, that's like a big right-wing account, man. There was a quote from some literal Republican operative who was like, we have Cat Turd 2 on our side, talking about, like, I think he's Team Trump. I don't know if he's DeSantis or Trump, but whichever. The people for that team were like, we have him on our side. As if, like, that's something to brag about, right? Like, that's the type of people you're talking about, man. Cat Turd 2? Like, what? And there were a lot of these accounts that were pushing it. So Fetterman's having some fun with it, throwing it back in their faces. Look, he looks good, right? Like, he looks skinnier, he looks happy, he seems like he's more with it in terms of cognitively being able to speak. And he said, like, I've developed more and more as time has gone by. He's recovered from the stroke and then developed better and better since then, because for a while he had a very hard time just listening and responding to people. He needed the writing there. The writing still helps, but he said he's improved a lot since then. So, hey, you love to see it. I mean, it'd be great if he shared, like, what his medication is and stuff. He's probably doing talk therapy mixed with some antidepressant or whatever, but seems to be working. This is good stuff. You love to see it. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.